In this video we discuss the Bretton Woods Agreement and how its failure impacted the global economy as well as how it relates to the emerging BRICS nations. The origins of Bretton Woods. The Bretton Woods Agreement was a landmark international agreement signed in 1944, in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. It established a new system of international monetary management, aimed at promoting economic stability and reducing the risk of financial crises. At the heart of the agreement was the establishment of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, with other currencies pegged to the dollar at fixed exchange rates. The US dollar was backed by gold, with other countries able to convert their dollars into gold at a fixed rate of $35 per ounce. This system provided a stable and predictable framework for international trade and finance, and helped to foster the post-World War II economic boom. However, it also created imbalances and tensions, as countries struggled to maintain fixed exchange rates in the face of changing economic conditions. The end of Bretton Woods. By the early 1970s, the Bretton Woods system was under increasing strain. The U.S. was running large budget deficits, fueled by the costs of the Vietnam War and domestic social spending, which led to inflation and a weakening of the US dollar. At the same time, other countries, particularly in Europe and Japan, were becoming more competitive and productive, and their currencies were appreciating in value. This made it increasingly difficult for them to maintain the fixed exchange rates required by the Bretton Woods system. In 1971, in response to mounting pressure, President Nixon announced that the US would no longer convert dollars into gold, effectively ending the Bretton Woods system. This decision marked a major turning point in the history of international monetary relations, and had significant implications for the global economy. The response to the end of Bretton Woods. The response to the end of Bretton Woods was mixed. Some countries, particularly those with large dollar reserves, were concerned about the loss of the gold guarantee, and the potential for increased currency volatility and inflation. Other countries, particularly those in Europe, saw the end of Bretton Woods as an opportunity to move towards greater monetary integration, and to establish a new system of fixed exchange rates within Europe. In the US, the decision to end Bretton Woods was largely seen as a necessary step to address the country's economic challenges, and to allow for greater flexibility and innovation in monetary policy. The emergence of BRICS. In the decades since the end of Bretton Woods, the global economy has undergone significant changes. One of the most significant developments has been the emergence of the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as major economic powers. These countries have experienced rapid economic growth and development, fueled by factors such as large populations, abundant natural resources, and growing middle classes. They have also sought to challenge the dominance of the traditional Western powers in international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. The relation of Bretton Woods to BRICS. So, how does the Bretton Woods Agreement relate to the emergence of the BRICS nations and the current global economic order? One way to understand this is to consider the role that the US dollar and the IMF have played in shaping the global economy. Since the end of Bretton Woods, the US dollar has remained the dominant reserve currency, and the IMF has continued to play a significant role in providing financial assistance to countries facing economic challenges. However, the emergence of the BRICS nations has challenged this existing order, and led to calls for greater representation and participation in international institutions such as the IMF. These countries have argued that the current system is dominated by Western powers, and that it does not adequately reflect the changing realities of the global economy. In response to these concerns, the IMF has taken steps to increase the representation of emerging economies in its decision-making processes. For example, in 2010, the IMF approved a package of reforms that increased the voting power of emerging economies such as China, Brazil, and India. At the same time, the BRICS countries have also sought to establish their own institutions and initiatives, such as the New Development Bank and the BRICS Contingent Reserve Arrangement. These institutions are aimed at promoting economic development and cooperation among the member countries, and providing an alternative to the Western-dominated IMF and World Bank. While the emergence of the BRICS countries has challenged the existing global economic order, it is important to note that these countries still face significant challenges and obstacles to sustained economic growth and development. Issues such as corruption, political instability, and income inequality remain major concerns in many of these countries, and there is no guarantee that their current success will continue in the long term. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Bretton Woods Agreement was a landmark international agreement that established a new system of international monetary management aimed at promoting economic stability and reducing the risk of financial crises. However, the end of Bretton Woods in the early 1970s marked a major turning point in the history of international monetary relations and had significant implications for the global economy. The emergence of the BRICS nations has challenged the existing global economic order and led to calls for greater representation and participation in international institutions such as the IMF. While these countries have experienced rapid economic growth and development, they still face significant challenges and obstacles to sustain success. Overall, understanding the history and evolution of the Bretton Woods Agreement and its relation to the emergence of the BRICS nations is essential for understanding the current global economic order and the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified of future content.